it's a privilege to stand up here near them. Their energy is unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. And that song is meant for you. You won't back down. You'll stand your ground. And the proof is you're right here, right now. That is for sure. Yeah. So Reverend Joe was due to speak today, and I jumped in, and I took his place. So he'll be here next week. Why? Because I need to talk with all of you about what we've been through this week. And I don't want to deviate from what we're talking about this month, which is the power of zeal, that spiritual energy that we're going to talk about right now called audacity. And sometimes that's a very strong attribute. You could say the audacity of her, or the audacity of him. Who do they think they are? Because a lot of times a person that acts that way is considered pushy, presumptuous, or simply spunky. Okay, yeah. Audacity is therefore not always seen in a perfect light. But when we're looking at the spiritual power of audacity, it's the capacity for everybody to proceed in the direction of their intention, remembering, keep your eye on your ego, but always in the direction of your intention. Your spiritual ability this week, your intention of audacity worked, didn't it? We all had the same intention. We did not want that hurricane to come down here and get us. We did not. So I've heard from several people in the community, some who wanted prayer, some who said, I can't believe the faith in God that is coming forth in me, in spite of the stress that I'm feeling. Talk about stress. 2 hurricanes back to back, both hitting Florida. You watch the weather station for any length of time, and you can go from stress to distress. Stress to distress. There's a big difference. We all experience stress, and to say that we don't is really a lie, because all of us do, from time to time, and it's at different degrees. Our unity principle, number 3, says human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. That's to remind us to keep a good thought, no matter what's going on, that we have the power to change any negative thought to a positive one. We can take stress and change it. We can take distress and even make it stress, so that we can get through whatever we need to do. But today, I cannot pretend to stand up here and talk to you about any of this without including you in it, because we have all been through something together, but very differently. Some of you need some healing. Some of you are experiencing emotional hurting. Some of you are not. Many of you have been without electricity and still are. I've spoken to one community member who has 18 inches of water in their house and has said, I am not doing this again. I cannot do it again, because they just got it back together from a couple of years ago. We're all different. But we can't just sit here. I can't stand here in front of you and pretend to know what it is that you're experiencing. So we're going to do this talk together today. Are you ready? Huh? Great. So here's what we're going to do. We have some guidelines, because otherwise we could have total chaos here. You never know. Here's the guidelines. We would all benefit from hearing from you. And the way it would be was you to share your feelings with us at the time that this was going on for you, and what helped you get through it, or what do you still need to do to get through this. We want to be here for you. We want to hear what you have to say. So Gary has a microphone, and Jesse, you have a microphone, and we're going to ask you, if you're brave enough to share with us what you have been through this week and how did you get through it? If you're through it. If you're not, just say you're not. This is about you helping one another here in this community understand what we've been through. Now, I'm going to give you an example so you know what I'm talking about. My family had a bloody fit that we were staying. I wish my phone wasn't working because it kept, come on, what is wrong with you, Eileen? Mom, get here. Get on a plane and get here. This is crazy. I spend all my time calming them down and telling them, look, we're ready. We're not in an evacuation area. If we were, we would evacuate. We know how to behave and do all the right things. So calming them down actually kept me peaceful and calm. And I realized over and over how I have faith that is very strong, and I am so grateful for that. That's an example. That's the truth, by the way. But I wanted you to hear kind of an example for that. Now, please know this. I reserve the right to help you get to your answer. Meaning, if you're talking a long time, I may interrupt you and help you, okay? All right. So, who is brave enough to just share, number one, how you've been feeling during this time? Tell the truth. We're all in this together. And what is helping you get through it? And we're going to raise hands, and these gentlemen will, whoa, all right. Let's start right here. Just say your name for us.
Good morning. My name is Alicia. Good morning. Thank you. This is my first week working at a VOW hospice, and I did not know that it was going to affect so many people in Florida trying to evacuate their loved ones from the areas that were in the path of the hurricane. So for the first week, it was like super challenging. And when I have a challenge, I go to the Prayer of Faith by Hannah Moore House because I need something repetitive in my head that will get me out of the stress. I'm not going to read you the whole prayer. I'm just going to read you the last 4 sentences because they're the ones that I repeat the most. God is my health. I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing, quick. God is my all. I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. Those last 2 sentences are the ones that I incessantly repeat in my head until I'm able to come down. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So the week leading up to Milton, I was just buried in social media looking at the wreck of Helene and everything that was happening there. And I thought it was just my normal stress from a typical preparing for a hurricane. But the day after the hurricane, I went to work and I could barely sit down. My whole body was so tense. And I realized at the end of the night, I had Charlie horses in both my hips going down to my toes because you don't realize it until you get to release the stress, just how much your body is affected. So I think this week I need some peace and to calm my body, and I bet a lot of you do as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anybody else? Sudi.
Well, I've been trying to keep my power and keep control of my thoughts and my feelings and how I feel. And I was determined I was not going to give my power away from give my power away to that darn hurricane and have it take control of my life. So we did what we had to do, and then I just tried to keep control of how I felt.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Patsy. I actually felt very peaceful. This is the 4th hurricane I've been through. We evacuated 1, but I felt very peaceful during the day. I did have someone come and stay with me so I wouldn't be alone, but I felt secure. I felt prepared. Um, I, I did not have anxiety or fear. I went to bed at 9 and woke up the next day and it was gone. And I took the dog out early in the morning just as the sun was rising, and it was like, it was just so amazing to walk outside and this wind was still blowing, and our community was really almost untouched other than little limbs and things falling down. I never lost power in my house, so I feel very, very blessed. But I really feel the reason for this is I live in the same building Reverend Eileen lives in. So there must have been a bubble of something around us where we were safe. Thank you.
So Patsy, you're saying you slept through the whole thing, is that it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I put a bubble around that place, a double one, actually, yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
Good morning. 2 years ago, I was in a condominium and there was 5.5 feet of water in the condominium below me. I lost my car, and since then, I've moved to another place. But interestingly, I ended up in another place that was also Zone A. So luckily, I have my friend over here who lives in Zone D, and I just want to thank Anne because the sheriff called all of Pelican Bay the night before and said that we have to get out the next day by 6 o'clock. And I tell you, you don't want to mess around with the sheriff, but you don't want to mess around with the hurricane. So everybody, I'm feeling blessed because I have friends and because we made it through this time without enormous amounts of loss. And I'm not like Patsy at all. I was terrified. But we got it together and we made it through and everything is okay and it's over again. So the most blessings for everyone and the most blessings for all the people in Florida who may or may not have been as lucky as Naples. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, good morning. My name is Atika. As a mental health professional, I struggled a lot. I struggled because so many of my clients are up north, so they had no idea what was happening. They were demanding appointments, and I was like, I can't. But I'm also a nature-informed therapist. That means we are very environmentally conscious, so I'm experiencing a lot of grief for the environment. And one of the ways I found healing was to come on campus with Barry and to help this community and be part of a community doing something to help them. And I'm not Jewish by faith, as you know, I'm Indian, but I fast every Yom Kippur for Earth to ask for forgiveness for what we're doing to the Earth and how we're living and over-consuming and the impact of it. And I found so much healing in that fasting yesterday from sun up to sundown. So, and even being here is just an amazing experience being in community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I'm Sharon. I grew up in Oklahoma, and we had my entire childhood, I stayed in a storm cellar because of tornadoes. And when the tornado alert started going off, I got very, very fearful. And Andy said to me, remember, Sharon, what you focus on, you bring into your life. And I stopped focusing on tornadoes right then. And I feel very blessed to be part of this community.
Thank you.
I think I was blessed 700 times. I've got to tell you, I have a self-storage building near the airport, and like most of us watching the news, there was a issue came out said there was 2 inches of water on the runway. And I said, oh my gosh, I got 700 customers up there that's going to be drowned it out. So at about 6 o'clock, it was just getting daylight. I went up to the building on Radio Road, and I was waiting to open the door and see the water gush out. But to my surprise, nothing was there. It was dry. I went in and flipped on the switch. The light came on, and stuff was on the desk where the girls had put the computers up there. So God gave me 700 blessings right then, plus my family, and I'm really thankful.
Hi, I was in Michigan, and I had a flight scheduled. It was only 49 degrees, and I had a flight scheduled for the 8th, which was canceled going into Punta Gorda. Then I had a scheduled flight for the 10th, which was canceled going out of Chicago. I went back to Chicago, and I was able to get in, and I'm so grateful that you're all here and that I'm able to be here, and I'm a wreck. Thank you.
It's on. Just start talking. That's fine.
Hi, my name's Ted. I lived in Atlanta 29 years, lots of tornadoes, and I've been through a lot of hurricanes, so they don't really bother me at all. Logically, you can get from the water in a good structure, but for some reason, not Helene, but this hurricane, all these people were texting me and calling me. What are you doing? What should I do? And I wrote them all down. There were 9 people that I know. And then they'd call again the day of. Oh, I think I'm going to leave now. I said, do you have a reservation? I said, don't go. And these are people I know really well. And it really got to me. I broke down because these are people I know. And I started thinking of all the fear of these. And these are people that have their life together and, you know, community people. And it was really unnerving to experience all of their fear. I had to just calm them. The ones I know that were spiritual, I said, look, you're going to be safe. God, just breathe in God's love. You're in a good structure. This is where you live. If you don't have reservations, you know, where should I go? I said, some people wanted to go like to North Florida. I said, no. Maybe Miami. If you have to leave, go, but get a good head start. And I don't know why on earth that all these people called me on this hurricane, but it was really a blessing because I was able to help them and bring calmness. But it was also, like I said, very touching and unnerving that all this fear and angst. And I, you know, so watching, when you watch I turn on the Weather Channel for maybe 15 minutes at a time. And then after all that, you start, you know, kind of feeling all this. And so anyway, it was a very interesting experience. And, you know, I have a lot of faith, so I was fine. But it was really, I was kind of blessed to be there for them. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Victor, and the good news is we made it through the hurricane, my wife Diane and Michael and I, without any problems or issues. But I will say something that did happen to me that I'm not real happy about is I developed an addiction. And, you know, coming from a former psychiatric nurse, many, many years at Mass General Hospital, I knew it was happening. I could not get my head out of those weather reports that were on 24/7. And I don't know about you guys, but didn't it start like about 2 weeks ago? They started following this hurricane. And all I could see, starting in the Yucatan, this big, round, circular thing, ominously coming towards us. So, just like you said earlier, Reverend Eileen, it went from stress to distress. So I don't know what the answer to that is, but I've done a lot of meditation since then. I feel a lot better. And I created stress for my wife and my son, I know. But I just could not get my head out of that TV. And I don't know if anybody else had the same issue, but...
Raise your hands if you spent a lot of time watching the hurricane.
Good, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
Right.
But, you know, and they combined the 3 local stations, so it was like 24/7. Wherever you looked, there it was in front of you. So I just wanted to share that, but by the grace of God, we're all here, and we're all worshiping today, and the sun shines, and we go on with our lives. Thank you.
There's somebody. You're doing a great job helping me this morning with my talk. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sandra, and I was very lucky to have a daughter that lives in North Naples on the 3rd floor. And so it was hard to leave because you can't get everything done. And so I was very grateful. But a friend had contacted me and said, "What can we do? What can we do?" And she was just completely upset. And as most of you know, a lot of you know, that besides my connection with God and Jesus, the angels are always with me. And with that, I created a prayer that I sent to her with a message from each of the 4 major archangels. And I did share that with close friends. Some of them are here today that we shared the prayer with. So it helped me in the creation of that prayer to help everyone else. So if anybody wants a copy of that prayer, if you want to put your email in the prayer box on a slip, I will send it to you. And it can be used at any time, hurricanes and everything else. But the only other thing was I was very upset that I lost everything in the refrigerator, and all I could think about was the money. And till somebody had, a foot of water in their home, and they lost their home, and I thought, I'm sorry. I am grateful. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jane. I live in Naples, and like you, I was barraged with calls. My son and daughter became a tag team, calling every 15 minutes. One would call, then the other. Then they had my grandchildren call. So I reminded them of last month when I was home and we had watched The Wizard of Oz. And I said, look, if the hurricane comes, I'm praying I land in New Jersey and I'll see you sooner than later. So they kind of like that. But I felt like I was watching the news too much and getting a little anxious myself. And it was like sitting in a car watching a turtle cross the road. I thought that storm, I'd just come and get this over with already. Then my friend called and said, okay, I have a place in Boca, go up there. You have to go. Everybody's worried, da-da-da-da. I'm from New Jersey. We get hurricanes and we live through Sandy. So my other friend came over and we decided, okay, we'll go up there. We unload the car with all our important papers and my best shoes. And I said, let's open all the shutters. We open all the shutters and we're on this giant harbor surrounded by water. I'm like, I think we jumped out of the frying pan into the water here, but nothing happened. Everything was good. And when I got home the next day, everything was still fine. So
Wonderful.
It's like that old saying, the only thing you have to fear is fear itself.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Bonnie.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. Well, first of all, we got worried about putting up shutters. And we went to our neighbors that we hardly know. And they were finishing their shutters, and we asked them, do you know anyone that puts up shutters? And they said, we'll be right over. And there were 2 sets of neighbors. And they came over. We were so grateful to put up our shutters. And when Milton left, and Milton was October 9th, and that was my birthday. So I talked to Milton and I said, I don't need you to come for my birthday, just I got cards, stay in the ocean. And then on Thursday, early in the morning, we hear this noise, and I thought, oh my God, the refrigerator. It was our neighbors taking down our shutters.
Wow.
I mean, I was filled with such gratitude for this. And during the hurricane, they always say, fill the tub with water. So we did that. And then they're saying tornadoes. And what they say with a tornado is, go in the tub. A dilemma. So we are very grateful. Thank you.
Okay, one more, and I'll need to move on.
I have one.
Oh, all right.
Well,
If nobody else, okay, there we go.
do it.
My name is Marley. I've been very fortunate to have a cousin who live on the East Coast on a golf course, gorgeous place, so I was safe there. But at my return, I've seen roof damage. So never happened to me. It's my first house. I've been always grateful to live in a community that I don't have to take care of anything, but now I do. So I live by myself, so if you know anything about roofing, I've called the company, roofing company, but I don't know how busy they're gonna be and how long it's gonna take. So if you know anything about roofing and you want to get back to me, I would appreciate some advice here. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Gary, since you're my husband and you've had to live with me through all this, go ahead. I'll make an exception. One more. Go ahead.
Yeah, I live in the same building as Rev Eileen, too. And I did have a glitch, though. The bubble, I had a little leak in the bubble. But I went to put second floor condo, putting my shutters down, and they're the crank shutters. They're all coming down. The last one's in the guest bathroom. Didn't come down. So I'm like, all right, here we go. And you're already stressed, and I'm trying and cranking and cranking and cranking. So then I try to open the window. I don't think that window's ever been opened in 20 years. Finally, with great force, it went up. So then I'm kind of looking out. I'm like, should I hang out here? And I'm not telling Eileen anything going on because she's dealing with her own issues. But I'm debating whether to climb out even more and try to pull a shutter down. And getting more and more frustrated, negative thoughts, like you said earlier. But anyway, to overcome it, I walked away from it. Well, first I tried to put the window down, then it wouldn't come down. And I'm great, okay, so now we're gonna have a window wide open. But finally, I push it down and it comes off the track. So, and she doesn't know any of this. She's learning about it now, but so I walked away, went down into the garage after I measured the opening, seeing what can I find to just stick in that opening. And there's a piece of plywood, the exact dimensions that I needed. I'm like, holy crap. But, so I brought that up. It fit right in the window. I nailed it in, and we got through it. So anyway, yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Our prayer chaplains this past Tuesday took it upon themselves to go on Zoom and pray for all of us also. So they're showing their audacity this week. So audacity is when you are courageous and you overcome seemingly impossible obstacles and are compelled to do something about it. You all just were full of audacity, every one of you that shared. You showed that no matter what the obstacle was, you were going to get through it. You're here today. How many of you still do not have electricity? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. How many have blinking electricity? Yeah, right. Yet you're here. You're here in this community. It's about having the courage to dream big, to exceed expectations, to face fears and uncertainty. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone and challenging yourself, which builds self-confidence and resilience. And I see in front of me a community of people that are resilient. It's about overcoming obstacles that seem insurmountable. It's when we use that spiritual ability to forge ahead in spite of everything. We heard all this week how this was a wobbler. We didn't know if it was going to wobble more north or come more south. And so we had to be prepared for the fact that it could have come all the way down and hit us. So you still have those emotions that go along with that. And you know, Eleanor Roosevelt is noted for saying, we must do the things we think we cannot. And that's what you did. Essentially, Audacity empowers individuals and societies to strive for greatness, to make it a better future. Our fifth unity principle says, knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called the truth, are not enough. A person must live the truth that he or she knows. We must put into practice everything we learn, or these principles are useless. There must be a shift in our consciousness. And when there is, there's a change in our behavior. And what I witnessed this morning with all of you is that. Starting with the prayer of faith. Somebody who's totally slept through the whole thing. Somebody whose body was affected deeply from holding all of that in once it was over. People that were thinking things were going to be much worse than they were, but had the faith and the belief that they weren't. I want to read from the 5 basic principles, what Jesus said. It's in Matthew 17:20. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. And nothing will be impossible for you. So in a moment, I'm going to show you how a 3-year-old prepares for a hurricane, how a 3-year-old has the faith of a mustard seed, who doesn't know fear. So when you're ready, Kathleen, if you would play that video right now. That happens to be Amy and Jesse's daughter, Ellie. That's how she prepared. I want to thank all of you so much for your willingness to be who you are and speak your truth about what you were feeling, how you got through it. It's a wonderful thing. We are setting up a committee to help those in need in our community and the greater Naples area as a result of Hurricane Milton. So anyone who's interested in being on that committee can sign up in the breezeway. And also, if anybody is needing any immediate assistance here, please let us know. Now, I know people get upset with us because we don't answer the phones, but we get the message immediately, and that message goes to whomever it's supposed to. So if you need help, please let us know so that we can be there for you, okay? Thank you so much for being here this morning.